Greatest ever done it. You can learn from it. Dope game ran it. Rap game running. Street cred hunted. Nerd turned D-boy, not in genetic makeup. Baby, I'm a G-boy. Hashtag street boy. Wrong one to fuck with. Cross me at your own risk. Play to get back. You can trust this. I am far from average. To me, it ain't no such thing. Me against the world, so fuck it, I let my nuts hang. I've been known to bust bang. Kill it if the need be. I don't need an army when the smoke clears, he sees me. Rhyming at his finest. Unlike those vaginas that claim that they the real deal, knowing I'm the highest. Top of the command chain. I am what the streets made. I am what the hood built. You were just a weak lame. Homicidal maniac with suicidal tendencies. You're more like a punk band. I'm more like a pedigree of nigga you ain't seen yet. So y'all cannot describe me. I'm a freak of nature. Don't shit here surprise me. Money over everything except the nigga's manhood. I am not a prostitute. You don't understand hood. Fuck a nigga getting his unless he about to give me mine. Otherwise he prime beat. Shocking when I up the 9 and hit it with it 7 times. Fuck you thought I'm civilized? Welcome to the jungle, fool. It's only right I punish you. Nigga with an attitude. Feel like MC Ren felt. Quiet on the set, you funky bitch, you get your friends slipped. I give your game a black eye. Blame it on the black guy. I be on some nigga shit, I'm niggerish, so that's why. Guess what my religion is? This is what the business is. Exposure for you garbage ass rappers. You can witness this. Came to bang your game up. Pussies think they came up. Oh, you got a drop head? So now you think you famous? I hear it's dangerous and we don't know your name, cuz we don't even give a fuck. Rappers get it fucked up. Security say you nah, this they side job. They don't want no conflict, they don't want no problems, nah.
Salute, and welcome. Welcome back to the Black Ocean. Now swimming in the deep end with your host, the one and only Great Black Shark. And yes, family, we're going to have to talk about this situation down there in Jacksonville. I know it's a bit later start time than usual, but as everybody listening to me knows, and I hope everybody's okay, Hurricane Idalia, I hope everybody survived that very well. I hope that wherever you are under the sound of my voice, you and your loved ones are safe. Your brother is safe. So I had to postpone the start time just to make sure that we'll be able to bring the broadcast to you all here tonight. And it looks like we're going to be able to do that thus far. Okay. So I just want to first send out my well wishes to all of you, wherever you are, if you were affected by that storm that we just had here. Okay. So we got to talk about this bastard on the screen here, Ryan Palmetto. Okay. Or we going to talk about this great American or white supremacist incel problem. We going to talk about it because, see, here's the thing. Before we get into that, we must pay respect to the victims that this low-down, dirty, cowardly bastard killed, okay? We must pay our respects to them. And in case you don't know who they are yet, we are going to honor and acknowledge them at the beginning of this broadcast here tonight. On the far left, the young brother's name is Anot Laguerre Jr. Okay, he was 19 years old. All right. Then in the middle, the sister that lost her life was Angela Carr, 52-year-old sister. That was the one that the coward fired upon while she was in her vehicle. She didn't even understand what was going on. Like none of them did. Didn't have a chance. She was an Uber driver, from what I understand, dropping off a passenger. And then the brother on the far right here was Gerald Deshaun Gallion. He was 29. And as I understand it, the brother was a father. Our condolences go out to their families and the precious black lives that he took from us. A long list of many that have been taken from us due to white supremacist terrorism, state-sanctioned white supremacist terrorism, let's call it what it is, due to the so-called authorities and powers that be not wanting to punish them, okay? So speaking of that, we're going to show you one of the powers that be who I hold more responsible than the white supremacists in charge. I'm going to show you why in a minute here. Oh, y'all know where I'm going with this. We're going to enhance this where everybody can see it. Oh, yes. Let's make this big because I want everybody to read along with me with this because, see, we're going to have to show these people we are not playing with them and why the bootlegs are one of our biggest problems, okay? I'm going to enhance this just a bit more. Make sure everybody can see it here. Just a second. Hold on. Might be a little too big. 1 second. We're going to take a look at this. All right. On the screen here. Mr. Hakeem Jeffries, the so-called Democratic Party leader. You know what? Let's take this banner down. Oh, and by the way, salute to the brother Jafar Kazim for the Cash App. Excuse me for mispronouncing your name, brother. But family, I'm going to greet all of you in a minute, but I want to go ahead and read this first of all, okay? Mr. Hakeem Jeffries put out a statement. Hakeem Jeffries put out a statement not too long after the tragedy that befell our brothers and our sisters, okay? So let's read this. I'm not going to say anything just yet. I'm going to see if you all catch it if you have not seen it yet. So his statement reads, the racist shooting, white supremacist, anti-black racist shooting, okay, in Jacksonville is the inevitable consequence of reckless public officials who coddle right-wing extremists, whitewash painful parts of our history, and see, I ain't gonna even say that just yet, painful parts of our history and flood our communities with weapons of war, okay? Hate crimes, anti-Semitic attacks, and anti-Asian violence are on the rise. Neo-Nazis are armed to the teeth, marching in our streets. No one in America is safe unless everyone is safe. Okay, Mr. Jeffries. Interesting choice of words here. Elected officials and presidential candidates who peddle poisonous attacks on our diverse society target historically vulnerable groups ban books, and minimize the pain caused by organized terrorists like the KKK are recklessly fanning the flames of racial hatred. They must cease and desist their dangerous actions immediately. Thoughts and prayers are not enough. Got that part right. Upon returning to Congress in early September, House Democrats will continue to vigorously push common sense gun safety measures designed to combat the gun violence epidemic. Our Republican colleagues can either join us or be complicit in the carnage. What? We urge the Department of Justice to aggressively investigate violent extremists in our society and prosecute them to the full extent of the law. This is an all-hands-on-deck moment 60 years after the March on Washington. Our work is far from over. Okay? Go ahead and take that off the screen. Family, 1 second, because I'm going to break him down. Let me adjust this audio very quickly, and I'm going to be right there with you. So now, hope everybody can hear me okay. Hope you can hear me okay. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me very clearly in the chat room, because I'm finna go in on this bastard. Oh, yes, I am. Salute to my good brother, Black Voltron Reloaded, for the cash out. Thank you very much, my brother. Let me know if you can hear me loud and clear, because I want to make sure everybody understands what I'm about to say here, because it's long overdue to be said without being sugarcoated. Okay, looking in the chat. Good. Everybody can see me. And in fact, the business, since I want to go ahead and get rolling, gonna do something a bit odd here tonight. For this channel, I usually acknowledge any and everybody. So I'm going to salute and welcome everybody at once. Everybody that's in the chat now, everybody that will be joining us. Usually, I like to give the roll call, but this one got your brother heated. Because see, the lives of my people, of my tribe, even those around the world that are not directly of my lineage, foundational Black American freedmen. I love us. I do. I love each and every one of you, whether I met you or not. I don't care if I've had issues with you. I care about my people. Okay? I'm going to have to try to compose myself here tonight as I show you what I'm going to have to show you, because I understand that my fellow brothers and sisters in New Black Media will be covering things, have covered things, and we'll talk about them in their own way. But somebody gonna have to say things like they need to be said. Hakeem Jeffries, you low down dirty son of a bitch, you. And let me preface what I'm about to say. You may not want your young children to be in the room for the language that I'm about to use, because I am irate, and that hurt me, even though I never met those brothers and that sister. Hakeem Jeffries, you low-life piece of shit, you. In your statement, you did not even mention Black people. You didn't call out the person responsible, because I'm going to call it what it is, Ron DeSantis, you white supremacist bastard, you're an immigrant at that. Yeah, I'm calling it what he is. You bring your ass over here to my country, an immigrant, off the backs and the hard labor of my ancestors that fought for you to have the right to immigrate over here. Before they even allowed you to be classified as white, you Italian, you full Latino. You come over here and then you go down to Florida talking about this is where woke goes to die. Code word for Black people, okay? Then, Hakeem Jeffries, you little pet bootlicker white supremacy, you put out a statement and don't even mention who the victims of the crime was. They never do that with any other group, especially the buffer class groups in this country. Something happened to Asian everywhere. Then you put anti-Semitic in there. That didn't have anything to do with anti-Semitism. Then, on top of that, Jeffries, okay, you had the nerve to try to just mention one side or the other. No, it's both of you. It's both parties. It ain't got nothing to do with no damn weapon or a type of weapon. I want to say this, too, to a lot of the Sambos is talking about this type of weapon that. No, the motherfucker could have did it with a pistol, a shotgun, whatever. It don't matter about the type of weapon. It's the individuals like this piece of shit on the screen here that get access to them, who the system ignores over and over and over and over again. until they harm our precious people in our community. Let me talk to you bisexuals for a minute. Like I said, it's going to be a difficult broadcast for me to get through. Salute to the good brother Quincy X for the cash out. If you are still stupid enough, because I'm going to say what need to be said, to go out here and vote for these damn Democrats after they sit up here and gave Asians an anti-black hate crime bill, when they don't even vote for the party like that. That's why we talking about, for anybody get started talking about, what about the Republicans? Do we vote for the Republicans in the same number? Not we, because I didn't, but as a collective, do we vote for the Republicans in the same numbers that we do the Democrats? No, we don't. So I'm addressing who's in power. You go out there and vote for these bastards after they leapfrog Asians and gave them a hate crime bill, when according to the FBI statistics, we're the ones that are the victims of the most. You got to be out your mind. They don't even dignify the victims in our community by calling black people black. He didn't even use that one time in there. He didn't say anti-black, he just said racism. This was anti-black racism committed by a state-sanctioned white supremacist domestic terrorist. At this point, if you vote for these people and they won't even protect you, let alone reparation or anything, you really are a detriment and an enemy to our people. We're going to examine some things. Why, though? Because, see, some of y'all probably think I'm just talking. So I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and dive into some things just in case anybody think I'm wrong. And by the time this broadcast is over, like most, you ain't going to really be able to argue with me. So we're going to go ahead and start analyzing some things.
Thank you for doing this. I want to just say to the Councilwoman, I got you. Don't worry about it. We've already been looking to identify funds to be able to help, one, make sure there's adequate security for Edward Waters College. We are not going to allow these institutions to be targeted by people.
Okay, listen, y'all. Let me tell you, we finna put parties aside, cause it ain't about parties today. A bullet don't know.
Before I let this blonde head having, boot licking, low life, Uncle Mammy Ruckus, pet of white supremacy finish. Ron DeSantis, it is not just that college that's in danger because of your anti-black racist white supremacist policies. All of the community down there in Florida is in danger because of what you've done. That's first and foremost. But see what we're looking at on this screen here, and I don't care whether it's male or female, in any party, when a tragedy happens to our people, if you sound like Jacoby Pittman here, you're not for us, you're not of us, and you belong to your master who you trying to defend. You're an enemy to black people. I don't call bags of dog shit like this heifer here a brother or a sister in my community. And let me tell you why. I'm speaking for myself as a member of New Black Media. Everybody else may feel their own way, but this is how I feel. If I greet you, whether I know you personally or not, as a brother or sister, that's a part of a family. You understand me? That's a part of a family. Family is not supposed to do things to intentionally harm other family members. So when you do what she's about to do here, you know, brother or sister of mine, in case anybody hasn't seen this yet, this is down in Jacksonville, Florida, where our precious brothers and sisters lost their lives. I'm going to let this piece of shit speak, and then I'm going to tell you what my issue is with it.
Party. So don't get me started. Okay, Jacoby is nice, but Ann is not. Now, if the governor wanted to come here and he bringing gifts to my community, y'all know I'm taking the gifts. because we've been through enough already, and I don't.
Bitch, gifts. Gifts, bitch. And yes, I'm saying bitch. Bitch, gifts. Look behind this bitch, family. And look at the people down there. The brothers and sisters in that community down there. Those are taxpayers. Taxpayers. Every one of us in this country that pay our taxes, we're due to the services and protection of our government. All of these elected officials are public servants on our taxpayer dime. We're their bosses. They're not ours. But this so-called councilwoman here, to get her ridiculous looking ass up here and have the nerve to talk about gifts that you want to receive and you don't think nobody else should go through no more. See, bitch, let me tell you something, Jacoby Pittman. You know the gifts I'm concerned about? It's 3 of them, and they lost their lives. Hadn't done nothing to nobody, just going about their daily business as black people. Those are the gifts I'm concerned about that have been taken away from their families. But not you. See, when a motherfucker like this get up in front of us, especially if it's a woman or one of these bootlegs right here, either one of them, but especially these mammies, because they use the mammies, and I got to say this like it is, they use the mammies more so in situations like this than the men, because they can control the mammies, and you heard what she's concerned with, gifts. I wonder what kind of gifts Ron DeSantis was finna give your bobblehead ass. Have the nerve to talk about some damn gifts and these people's family members are dead because of that damn anti-black racist demon you trying to protect. See, this is an enemy right here. I want to know what the gifts are. I can't say what I want to say on this broadcast, but I will say this. Anytime anybody does this to us, and I've said it before, one thing that I do respect about the Jewish community, she would never go talk to them like this had they had a tragedy like that happen. And they, while they're born a public official that they felt responsible, she wouldn't try that with them. The LGBTQ community, the Asian community, whoever you want to name. But you gonna do it with black people? Oh, well, we gonna make some points about this here. I'm gonna let this play because I need to compose myself, but I'm gonna come back. We gonna get through this together because see, this is angry. This makes me angry. I don't like seeing my people, innocent people, be harmed like this, but I'm gonna let this piece of shit continue here.
Want to go through no more. Now y'all just be quiet just a minute and let the governor say what he gonna say, and we gonna get this party started. You hear me? Okay, let's do it.
Well, thank you.
Get this party started. Bitch, where you see a party? My understanding, this was a prayer vigil, not a damn party. See, they should have booed her even louder, and they should have made it clear to her that, okay, you don't have to worry about being a councilwoman for much longer. Because, see, this is why I hold her to a greater accountability than Ron DeSantis, even though he's culpable for it. Bitch, you was put there to represent your people, your constituents, who are mostly black. That means you supposed to defend us in situations like this. You should have been the main one out there with the people saying, yes, your policies caused this. You run around down there in Florida telling us that slavery was a benefit to us some type of how. You run around talking about where woke goes to die and all your other anti-black racist, white supremacist rhetoric and the laws that you passed to make it legal for people to kill black people down there. You should have been standing with the people because you're a public servant on the taxpayer dime. But that's not what she did. Oh, no, that's not what she did at all. Let's let it continue.
Good evening, America. Welcome to Cross.
See, and one more thing before we get into analyzing this further. Let me further say something about Jacoby Pittman and her type. These bootlicks, we're going to have to make it uncomfortable for them to be anywhere near us. They shouldn't be able to speak so boldly and disrespectfully to us when tragedy occurs. I'm saying this to every black person on the sound of my voice. Your lives are worth no less than any of these other groups that they put the cape on for since Jim Crow Joe has been in office, okay? Don't you ever let these people play you like that. There was even a white guy out there that called Ron DeSantis out. But see, for the few white, because I got to give true acknowledgement. For the few white people that will take a stand, if they see that a mammy can just quiet you down, the white person will feel out of place saying anything. They're like, well, I guess, this is what the black people want. No. To my brothers and sisters in Florida, Jacksonville, I know you just gone through a lot with the passing of this storm. I'm going to give you some words of encouragement. It's time for you to be the storm down there. Get that bitch out of office. I'm saying that to anybody, anywhere that's got somebody like that, speaking against the best interests of our people after a tragedy occurs. Or we're going to have to bring a storm to their ass. Get them the fuck out of office. That bitch is just as culpable as that damn terrorist down there, because they'll stand by and watch you be harmed instead of holding the people that they're supposed to hold accountable to a standard and make sure they do what they're supposed to do in the best interest of black people. That's my message to my brother and sister in Florida. But I'm not done yet. I want y'all to watch this segment here, and then we're going to break this down.
Country, today marks the 60th anniversary of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech. In his speech, Dr. King talked about not judging one another by the color of one's skin, but by the content of one's character. We have come so far as a nation since then. But sadly, on this same day, a masked monster committed a racially targeted attack in the city of Jacksonville, Florida, killing 3 people, then himself.
Not just a monster, a white supremacist, state-sanctioned terrorist. But see, he's on Fox News, so I know he wasn't going to say that, but we're not going to stop calling them what they are. Don't ever let anybody mislabel or sugarcoat anything about our situation when this happens to us, family.
The shooter had authored several manifestos, one to his parents, one to the media, and one to federal agents. Portions of these manifestos detailed the shooter's disgusting ideology of hate. Plainly put, this shooting was racially motivated, and he hated black people. He wanted to kill.
The sheriff making it very clear, this is hate, pure and simple. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis responding tonight, calling the shooter a scumbag.
I was able to speak with Sheriff T.K. Waters in Jacksonville about the horrific shooting that took place. This shooting, based on the manifesto that they've discovered from the scumbag that did this, was racially motivated. He was targeting people based on their race. That is totally unacceptable. This guy killed himself rather than face the music and accept responsibility for his actions, and so he took the coward's way out. But we condemn what happened in the strongest possible terms. We've offered support for Sheriff Waters and the city of Jacksonville, and we send our condolences to the victims and their families who were the victims of a very cowardly act.
See, this is the disrespectful part about where white supremacy will take both sides of a conflict. DeSantis, you the cause of it. You're the cause of it. The sheriff in the press conference where he stated that he called things what they were. Let me give further encouragement to my brothers and sisters in Jacksonville. Primarily to the men. My brothers down there, you need to go to that sheriff in groups. Let me tell you why I'm not saying the women should be there. I want y'all to bear with me because this affected men and women in our community. But hear your brother out. In times of crisis, a threat to the community or our tribe, the men are supposed to step up first. It should be no less than 300-400 black men. Go meet with that sheriff, the brother that called it what it was, and state the exact reason that they feel and think and know why that terrorist attack occurred. Ron DeSantis. They need to make their concerns very clear and voice their displeasure with that damn mammy, Jacoby Pittman, and make it clear that they want her out of office. They will not be voting for her again. This is why I'm saying it should be the men, because that's what we need to see in our community when we're under threat. See, being a black man comes with responsibility. This is why I say the title of black man and black woman are earned honorable titles. There are responsibilities that come with that. On our end, as the men, when this occurs, we're supposed to do something about it. That's on us, to protect our women and our children and elderly, the infirm amongst us. This falls on us. So the question is, what are we going to do? First thing to do, get on code. When they booed that heifer, they shouldn't have stopped booing. They should have booed all of them and be like, either you going to stand with us or with your master over there. Then, when it comes to tragedies like this, I've said it before, our protection, at least at this point in this country, is up to us, okay? Wherever you are, because see, I know how it is here in Georgia, where I'm at. Somebody strange come walking through the neighborhood. Hey, who the fuck is that? I ain't never seen this car around here before. Who is this? You're going to have to tighten up and form your own security plans wherever you are, primarily starting with the men. When you have meetings together, get that together amongst yourselves. It's not to be discussed online. But whatever you come up with, make sure the entire community understands the rules, right down to the children. Okay? So we can stop these things before they occur. But I'm going to let this press conference continue, then we're going to further analyze this.
So this violence is unfortunately not the first of such tragedy. And unless we demand change now, it won't be the last. Reverend P.M. Smith serves as the Huber Memorial Church in Baltimore, and he joins us now. Reverend, thanks so much for joining the program. This is the anniversary of the March on Washington, and we have come so far as a nation. What do you tell the nation when something like this happens?
Number one, I was 16 at the time of that march. I remember it well. Martin Luther King, Reverend Martin Luther King was a role model for me. Number two, violence. This is making national news. I'm in Baltimore. I'm in the inner city. This is making national news as a mass shooting only because the shooter was white, or if it had been a police officer. It would be mass shooting, racially motivated. I'm in Baltimore. We have a mass shooting every weekend. Friday to Sunday, there will be 3 or more homicides. Friday to Sunday, there'll be 10 to 15 non-fatal shootings. So my heart goes out. My prayers for the families who lost lives, and that includes the young man, the sick young man, call him another name if you want, the sick young man who did this. But I'm telling you, in Baltimore, in Detroit, in Chicago, in Philadelphia, in St. Louis, mass shooting, 3 or more homicides is normalized with us. Every week, there'll be 3.
Yeah, and I've been to all those.
Now, you heard this bootlicking maggot right here. Let me make something clear. Whatever faith or religion you choose to practice that you believe helps make you a better person, don't have nothing against that. I'm not an atheist myself. I'm not subscribed to any particular one religion, but I have a relationship with my Creator, the Most High. And I don't need to be in anybody's church or building or facility to maintain that relationship with the Most High. But let's talk about that. So this is supposed to be a man of God. First thing, that title that I just said, man of God, if you understand your Bible or any holy book that you read, you would know one thing about God Almighty. He does not love a coward. God does not love a coward. That's what this bootlick is being, because see, as a shepherd of the flock he's supposed to be, how you not going to call out the direct evil for what it is and you start looking to the side? See, if you follow the example of the scriptures, And the Son of God, Jesus Christ, look at what he did wherever he went with his apostles. They didn't see evil or wrongdoing and turn their head and start talking about something else. Black on black crime, because that's basically what he's doing. Jesus, the Son of God, called it out directly and went to confront it directly as a shepherd of the flock, because that's what he was sent here to do on our behalf. You, sir, are nowhere near being a servant of God or a man of God. Not the God I know. Black people were victims. They died. Here you come talking about black on black crime. Even if you want to bring that up, you off cold, spineless maggot. That was not the time to do it, because this is what happened to us specifically. See, we don't have anybody in other groups. You don't see people in other groups. Asians, Hispanics, Arabs, East Indians. That's not the white community. A tragedy happened to their people, then they turn around and start pointing at each other about what they do with their mass shootings. You don't see that, do you? When something happens to all those other communities, you better not be the one to stand up there and start pointing the finger at them, because they know when they're victims, if they don't do something about it, they'll continue to be victimized. I have no respect for an old bastard like this. That's not an elder. An elder is an earned honorable title. The elders of the community, the men and women that qualify for that, are not cowards. You cannot be depended upon to protect anybody if you are afraid to simply call evil for what it is and stand on it. You turn around and look at our people after we've been hit with a tragedy and start wagging your finger at us. Nationwide, not just in Jacksonville, because that's what he's doing. In case you think I'm reaching, I'm going to let this piece of shit continue here.
Cities, Pastor, even to your beloved city, Baltimore. I want to bring in the great Chief, James Craig. He's joining us well. Chief, on this day, as the investigation has just started, you got a new sheriff, Republican sheriff, that is there in Jacksonville.
Salute to the brother Andrew Eccles for the cash out. Thank you very much, my brother.
Florida made history down there. He made it clear that it was racially motivated there. And how do you handle an investigation like this, sir?
Well, you know, and Lawrence, thanks for having me on your show. I got to tell you, and I agree with your guests, it's tragic. We don't talk enough about the black on black crime occurring in urban areas. You know, I've worked in Los Angeles, Cincinnati, Detroit for 8 years as a chief of police, and mass shootings are not unusual. And certainly any mass shooting is a tragedy, but when will it stop? And I just got to say, man, you know, it's not the gun, it's the individuals. This guy clearly had some racist.
Salute to the good brother Project Leroy for the cash out. Now, see, here's another worthless shit eater, as we call him down here in my state, a worthless shit eater talking about black on black crime. To all you Sambos and coons that keep talking about that, especially at a time like this when we're the victims of something and it's not somebody from our community, our good brother Nipsey Hussle, who lost his life to that maggot, Eric Holder, okay? Anytime a black person does something to another black person, there's a punishment for it. We don't have to march for that. So that's why we don't talk about it like that, because the system is going to punish them. This bastard right here, if he hadn't taken his own life, they probably would have taken him to Burger King. Ryan Palmetto, that is. Probably would have taken to Burger King. So we don't have to talk about that when that happens to a black person. Yes, it matters, but we know justice is going to be served. I want young black men listening to me to see these faces of these old cowards here. This is what you don't want to live to become. What value or meaning does your life have if when you get older, with all your wisdom and life experience, if you don't use that to protect your community, especially the young ones coming up? See, bastards like these old bastards here that's talking, They're not concerned with young people. They already got theirs. All they're worrying about is their little pension, retirement check, or whatever. And they'll just keep selling you down the river. They're not going to go and face the problem that's targeting the future of our people, the young people. They're worthless. I'm going to let it continue, though. I ain't done with him by sight.
Intent, given what the Sheriff Waters talked about, but enough. It's enough. But let's talk about the other mass shootings that happen every single day in places like Chicago.
You know, I got to ask, Chief, because the sheriff, during his press conference, talked about the Baker Act and that it was already implemented. He talked about the parents calling the police. He also said that the parents didn't want him to have guns. So I guess what do we do if we already went through the mental health process? You got the parents that were cooperative with the police. They reported that their concerns for their son. You got an evil guy that has hate in his heart. Is there any solution to this? Because I think the American people, that's what they want. They want solutions to whether it's a brother being killed on the south side of Chicago or a racist that has hate in his heart that goes in and targets people. They want it to end.
Well, you know, Lawrence, there's a void. You know, we can talk ad nauseum about, you know, parents or witnesses calling. You know, certainly law enforcement has to do their job. I'm certainly not going to be critical of my friends out in Florida. If they became aware of someone that was suffering from mental illness, that expressed a desire to engage in this level of tragic hate and evil, what was done? And if law enforcement dropped the ball, I'm not suggesting that they did, but we need to look at that. Because we oftentimes, what do we say? You see something, you hear something, you say something. But if you say something and law enforcement doesn't respond, that's a problem. But a lot of it has to do with, and I know this having been a police chief in 3 different cities, you have to have relationships with the community. They have to trust you. And when they trust you, they're going to talk to you. And when they talk to you, they're going to report different levels of violence. No matter how minuscule it might be to most. That's how you respond to a lot of these tragic situations. But we can't just, now, of course, some on the left would start screaming, oh, we need gun control. Gun control is not going to work. If somebody is mentally challenged, mentally ill, or if someone is a violent felon, laws don't work. They don't follow the laws anyway. So what are we going to do? Let's stop having the same conversation and let's start dealing with the real issue at hand. Like the vice president would say, what are the root causes of this? Let's get to the root causes and let's start showing that there are consequences to your action. But we have got to service those who are suffering from mental illness. And I got to tell you, Lawrence, you know, we've talked before.
Yeah.
You know, I've been on so many
The root cause is white supremacy. You bootlicking bastards, you. That's the root cause. You too much of a damn coward to say that, though. You're too much of a coward to say that to either political party. See, before it's over with tonight, we're going to prove that they had advance warning this was going to happen. Because let me tell you something. These little white supremacist incels like Ryan Palmetto, may he burn in hell for all eternity. They don't just wake up overnight like that. They get this ideology from their families. We've said it many times in New Black Media Spaces. Racism and white supremacy is passed down like a family heirloom. If they got somebody 60, 70 plus years old, 80, 90 years old in their family, you got to understand that means that they got parents and great-grandparents that witnessed lynchings. Sit around that like it was entertainment, watching our ancestors be killed. See, if we were wrong about saying racism and white supremacy is passed down like a family heirloom, then why would you get a Ryan Palmetto today? It all starts at home, like they tell us. Where did he get the ideology from? He didn't just pick it up by himself. And this lone wolf term, that's bullshit. You're not telling me that nobody else in his community understood that that's how he felt about black people? You're not going to tell me that. But we're going to get to that. I'm going to let these bootlegs continue talking.
Suspect situations, crisis calls, the vast majority are individuals suffering from mental illness. The system is broken and there's no priority. We got open borders and we have individuals suffering from mental illness in our urban environments because many, and what a lot will not say, and I'll say it, many of our young adults in urban communities are suffering from PTSD. And it's not being addressed.
Nobody in our community, no young adult in our community committed this tragedy. White supremacy isn't mental illness. It's evil. It's those people's religion that are trying to kill us. And see, this is the way I view things, the way I was raised in my community, okay, where I live. You come out bootlicking and buck dancing like this when something occurs that affected our people in a fatal way, nobody respects you anymore. See, primarily you sisters, when you hear black men talking like this, or any black person in a position where you're supposed to represent and protect our people, even in the clergy, you're not supposed to have no more respect for that person. You're not supposed to be in a church no more. You're not supposed to support them for city council no more. I don't care what position they have. You're supposed to completely withdraw. They're supposed to become invisible. Why? Because we're invisible to them. As long as they right up on the mouse and then get that little pit on the head and a butter biscuit, we don't exist anymore to them. So it's high time we reciprocate that to these enemies of our community. Let's let it continue.
It's such a good point, Chief. And, you know, Pastor, I got to bring you back in because we've talked about a lot of the elephants in the room. Another one is because of this attack and because it was racially motivated, there's going to be an attempt to divide all Americans. What do you say in this moment of time to tell the American people, don't take the bait? One hateful act shouldn't be responded to with more hate.
Lawrence, the chief and I are on the same page. I practiced law in 2 states for 10 years. I defended the senseless behavior that's occurring in the urban arena where African Americans live today. And now I am burying that criminal behavior that's killing so many of our young people, killing so much of our future. Here's the reality. Life has been devalued. Life has been reduced to a choice, whether it's a mother aborting a child or whether it's a brother pulling the trigger on another brother. Life has little.
Family, it's going to be hard for me to contain myself, but I'm going to make my best. This bastard is steadily talking about what black people need to do better instead of what happened to us in real time in Jacksonville. They paid that bootlick, both of them, to come on there and do that because it's Fox News, of course. But we're not going to leave the CNNs and the so-called liberal networks off the hook either. Because, see, one thing that I co-sign, along with my other brothers and sisters in new black media, it's time to start going after the sponsors of these networks that allow these people up there, no matter what they look like, white or black, that come up here and talk crazy about black folks or to black folks. I'm going to say it again, whether they talk crazy about black people or to black people in situations like this. Okay, cool. Coca-Cola, Nike, whoever their sponsors are, because we can find out who those sponsors are. Oh, yes, we can. This is what you're going to allow? When our community is targeted, these networks have these people on there speaking disrespectfully about and to us? Cool, no problem. We won't support your product anymore, okay? And we will associate your product with anti-black racism because that's exactly what it is. This undermining bootlick right here, I don't understand how bastards like this can sleep at night as men or black people, period. But there's one thing I do know, and I want young black people to understand this. In order to have shame You must have something called honor first. If you have no honor, you have no shame. Think about it. This Negro know what he's doing is wrong. He's a sellout. There's no way any functioning, normal-minded black person would not know that going up here talking the way he's talking at this time is the wrong thing to do. No way. I want y'all to listen to the rest of it, though, because he's not done yet.
Or no value. Our values have deteriorated over time. From 1963, 1968 to now, deterioration of the values in our African-American community. Life means nothing. Death is in the power of the man with the trigger. What we have to focus in on, if we go into the root cause, is the F word. No expert is going to use the F word, but the chief knows I'm right. It's the family. The breakdown of the family leads to the breakdown of the neighborhood, the community, and the city. So we get what we get, where there's no authority in the family, when there are no boundaries set by the family, where there are no consequences enforced by the family in the lives of these young people, and no discipline instilled.
Listen to how this old sellout coward is just going on and on about black people issues when you were brought up here to talk about what happened in Jacksonville. No young black person committed that act, you old bastards, you. Bastards, all three of them, because I'm going to call all three of them what they are. But you up here ranting and raving as if a group of... Look, this one thing I got to say. Yes, single motherhood is a problem in our community. We get that. But one thing you don't see Pookies and Ray Rays going to shoot up schools or committing mass shootings like that in our communities like that. They don't do that. No, they don't. They go at each other. They don't go do this and target other groups of people at that because they hate the color of their skin. They don't do that. You can't say that, you old bootlicking bastard, you. See, a nigga like this, and I'm going to say the word nigga. Yes, I am, because that's what this is. A nigga like this that'll get up here and chastise and wave his finger at black people in our hour of dire distress. You cannot get my protection. You can't. I don't respect you. I don't acknowledge you as one of us. Now I look at you as a threat anytime I see your old ass. Because this makes no sense. Again, find me his equivalent. These three bastards equivalents in other communities outside of ours. Huh? Think about it. I know it's simple, but I got to put it before you. How often do you see, or have you ever seen, a member of the Jewish community or etc. get up and talk to wag their finger at their people after a massacre occurs with them? It doesn't exist. And I dare anybody to prove it to me. Show me. Prove me wrong on that. We're going to have to set a zero tolerance for this family. Let's let this bastard continue.
By the leadership of that family, basically fathers, we get what we get. Yeah. We get young people who encounter cops, young people who encounter courtrooms, young people who encounter correction officers, and ultimately cemeteries. It's in Baltimore, St. Louis, Chicago. I agree with the chief on this. We are fighting the same battle. He's from a law enforcement perspective. I'm not law anymore. I'm working with young people every day, and I see it every day. And I'm telling you, it seems like we're losing the
Pastor,
battle.
you are spot on. Chief, spot on. We are praying for the folks of Jacksonville, the 3 victims, as well as all the families that have been impacted.
How the hell were they spot on when they didn't address the goddamn issue and the cause of it? How you spot on, you damn coon, you? And see, take a look at all their looks, okay? Let's go here with it. Because see, I told you, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. They all have the same look, young and old alike. The one in the middle, look how he is. I'm not talking about a suit or how he's dressed. I'm talking about the look on his face. Completely disconnected from black people. These 2 old bastards here on the left and the right. They're the ones that'll sit there and watch black youth be targeted about white supremacy in their community and then start telling them what they did wrong. Even if they're innocent. Existing while black was, see, you know, you look Mouser right in the face. You shouldn't have did that. That's why he did that to you now. Now come on over here to the church so we can pray and you can turn the other cheek. No, fuck you and everything you stand for, you damn coward. God would never respect this. He didn't respect this in the Bible. Go ahead and read it. There's no way you can spin that. No way. God honored and elevated the courageous amongst men that stood up against unrighteousness and injustice. Not these bastards.
About this. Thanks so much for joining the program.
And now, we going to talk about the situation that I said earlier. This is James Palmetto. James Palmetto. Fact of business. Let me take this down. Hold on. Just a second. There we go. This is the brother of Ryan Palmetto. We're gonna examine a couple of things, okay? Here's some of his tweets. Here's some of his tweets, family. Take a look. August 19th, 2011. X, formerly known as Twitter. I'm racist. Problem? Cool. Glad you admitted it. Look at another one we got here, okay? We want to examine some things. Black people, August 18th, 2011. Do I have your permission to use the word nigga? I'll use it regardless, but whatever. Okay. Yeah. June 11th, 2011. I turned my TV on and this is what I hear. Sup, niggas. This is what was actually said. Sam Nigel. It was that heartburn commercial. Okay. Notice a pattern. August 22nd, 2011. People really, mainly black people, in quotations. And means and, not in. Okay. Now, this boy got nothing but black people on the brain, huh? What kind of family do you think he came up in for him to think this way, huh? He didn't just start doing this on his own. So him and his brother are anti-black raising their day. Better keep an eye on his brother because he probably gonna be next. There's no way that you can make me believe that he's just running around and he's not planning his moment. No way. The parents of these demons are demons themselves. And that's all they know how to produce. We're not done though, because we got some other things to analyze here though, family. Oh yeah, we're gonna be thorough with this broadcast here tonight. We're gonna be very thorough. Oh yeah. Gotta analyze some things coming up here. I'm gonna play what the chief had to say, and then I'm gonna make a couple of points on that. So I want us to listen to this because y'all already heard this before, but I'm playing this for a reason because I got something next to show you. And then we're gonna break that down and show you how this is also a threat in our community.
Office of the Medical Examiner has positively identified the shooter as Ryan Christopher Palmetto. The shooter was 21 years of age when he committed yesterday's atrocities. He lived with his parents in Orange Park in Clay County, Florida. To our knowledge, he had no criminal arrest history. And as I said yesterday, he did have a Baker Act petition from 2017. This petition occurred in Clay County, and it appears that the shooter was held for 72 hours under the Baker Act provisions and then released without further involuntary commitment. At 1:08, an 11-round shot spotter activated. At 1:08 and 13 seconds, the suspect's on video in the parking lot in front of the store, shooting into a black Kia and murders the first victim, Ms. Angela Carr. The suspect enters a Dollar General store and engages the second victim. I saw a young 19-year-old victim, Anolt Legare. At 1:09 and 50 seconds, the first 911 call goes out. At 1:10 and 30 seconds, victim Jared Gallion enters the store with his girlfriend. At 1:13 and 5 seconds, one round shot spotter initiates once again. At 1:13 and 10 seconds, the suspect shoots a third victim, Gerald Gallion. At 1:18, the suspect texts his father and says, "Use a screwdriver to get into my room." The father enters the room and finds a last will and testament of the suspect along with a suicide note on his laptop. At 1:19 and 21 seconds, the officers enter the building and begin to clear. Just 11 minutes after this whole ordeal began. Patrol clearing the hallway when the officer hears a single gunshot. We believe that's when he killed himself. From what I'm understanding from our lieutenant here, he let several people out of the store. Why, I don't know. Some of them were white, but I do believe there was a couple that were not. But what I'm telling you is, where it stands right now, there was nothing that we could have done to stop him from owning a firearm, a rifle, or a handgun. There was no red flags.
Another.
Okay, so now you heard the chief. To his credit, he called things as they needed to be, as he should have, because we are the victims in this situation, our people. Okay. So now I played that for you so that you will have a proper frame of reference going into what we're going to analyze next, which is also a part of the damn problem and threat to our community. Because, see, I'm going to put this where it needs to be said. Ron DeSantis, you come from an immigrant background. So does this bastard right here on the right-hand side of your screen, Vivek Ramaswamy. And again, I'm going to triple down on what my brothers and sisters have been saying before me. It's time to go after the sponsorships of the CNNs and all these networks that will host the Vivek Ramaswamys that hate our people. Oh, it's time. Our ancestors are responsible for your little bootlicking, white ass kissing behind to be over here. And then you get over here and practice anti-black racism against the people that hadn't done nothing to you. But you don't have no smoke for the British that colonized and devastated your people. See, one day, I'm going to have to present that history to you all so that you can see particularly why the Vivek Ramaswamys and the Dinesh D'Souza's are such bootlicking cowards. Because let me tell you something. Antebellum chattel slavery in America was our Holocaust. But if I was an Indian man, okay, an East Indian man, what the British did to my people, I had to see you to this day for that. Y'all don't understand. We had horrors inflicted upon us. They did as well. I'm going to get into that on future broadcasts. I'm going to take the time to put that together. But I'm going to let this play. And then we're going to further get into why we're going to have to start cracking down on these anti-black racist immigrants that have a tan when they come after our people like this. Let's let this play.
Level on Friday, in addition to the comment we played, you took issue with comments from Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley. She reportedly said, quote, "We don't need any more brown faces that don't want to be a brown voice. About that, you said, "These are the words of the modern grand wizards of the modern KKK." You know, I'm sure, the KKK was responsible for more than a century's worth of horrific lynchings, rapes, murders of black people. How in any way are the views you're talking about comparable to the views and atrocities committed by the KKK?
What I said is the grand wizards of the KKK would be proud of what they would hear her say, because there's nothing more racist than saying that your skin color predicts something about the content of your viewpoints.
You didn't just say they would be proud. You said these are the words of the modern grand wizards of the modern KKK.
It is the same spirit. You're right about that, Dana. I think it is the same spirit to say that I can look at you and based on just your skin color, that I know something about the content of your character, that I know something about the content of the viewpoints you're allowed to.
Let's pause it right there. Two things we're going to deal with right off the rip. We're going to stop the dominant society from just relegating anything white supremacist to just the KKK. We're going to stop that. It's the system in itself as a whole. Even this on your screen here. Because had this happened to a Jewish community, she wouldn't have had nobody like Vivek Ramaswamy up there talking the opposing view. She wouldn't have done it. No network would. The other thing we're going to deal with, Vivek, okay? He did not chastise you targeting the color of your skin. You're an anti-black racist. Your words have condemned you. I don't agree with everything Ayanna Pressley says, but see, let me chastise her as well and her party. This is where if they really are serious about challenging the threats to our community like Vivek Ramaswamy, because he'll be the next Ron DeSantis if he were to become governor somewhere. If you don't come out and call it like it is, like I just said, even if you want to clean up the language, call out the problem for what it is. This anti-black racist is a threat to our people. It's just that simple. There's nothing else to say about it. So see, I hate when they try to hide behind the bastardization of the language of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., okay? They talk about everything except for him getting reparations for us. I'm going to let this further play, though, because we got more to dissect.
Express. For Ayanna Pressley to tell me that because of my skin color, I can't express my views, that is wrong. It is divisive. It is driving hate in this country. This is dividing our country to a breaking point.
That is a debate that is based on nonviolent discussion. That you just said you're using rhetoric, which she said she's using rhetoric. That's one thing. And another thing is to say that she represents and she is a modern version of a KKK, which, as you know, was dedicated to the subjugation and violence against black people. How on earth is she a modern grand wizard of that kind of organization?
Let's be intellectually honest and get to the heart of what this debate ought to be about. There is a worldview that says that the remedy to past discrimination is present discrimination, that if you're black or brown, you have to have a particular point of view. That's from Ibram Kendi. That's from Ayanna Pressley, the people I quoted in my speech yesterday.
But can you have an intellectually honest conversation when you accuse her of being a grand wizard of the KKK? Can you have that intellectually honest discussion with that kind of rhetoric?
Yes, I can, Dana, because the point I'm highlighting is that even the people who, in good spirit, we all agree that the KKK was an awful organization that is a toxic stain in our national history. So given that we can start from that point of agreement, now that allows us to say, well, who actually sounds more like that organization today? The people who are calling for more racial discrimination on the basis of skin color. So yes, I think that is an intellectually useful starting point for a provocative discussion that we need to have in this country.
The whole point is the KKK wasn't just about rhetoric.
We have to speak openly.
They lynched people, they murdered people, they raped people, they burned their homes.
And that was wrong.
Simply
that was
because
obviously wrong.
Wrong. Okay, again,
that is obvious.
Now, let me take the time to educate my young black people on what you're witnessing right here. And I paused it on this juncture of the screen for a reason. Pay close attention to this, because a lot of people are not going to point this out. I froze it on this particular frame for a reason. What you see on the left, family? Talk to me, because I have a very intelligent audience. Point out what you see on the left-hand side of your screen here. Somebody point it out to me. What do you see that's inappropriate to be discussing this? If you seriously challenge somebody. So I'm about to make a hell of a point here when I thread this needle. Tell me what you see. Left-hand side of your screen, Dana Bass. What you looking at? What do you see? What is she doing in this frame? Uh-oh. Red dress. Oh, yeah. My audience is very bright. She's smiling. Now, you probably saying, GBS, why? What's the significance of her smiling? Because it proves the point that they're playing good cop, bad cop to insult our community. That's what they're doing. She wouldn't be grinning if this happened to a Jewish person and they wouldn't have an opposing view. Do you see where we're going with this when we tell you it's time to go after their sponsorship? If she was seriously, look, I'm going to prove it, because a lot of people are like, oh, you still reaching. Okay, watch this. When they have an on-code black person on their news networks, like our good brother Tariq Nasheed and many others, when they oppose them, the host, they cut their mic, cut them off. They're aggressive with it. They ain't grinning and smiling then. Is she treating Vivek Ramaswamy like they would treat Brother Tariq Nasheed, and even though I have issues with him, is she treating him like they treat Dr. Umar Johnson when they have him on, huh? Is she treating him that way? Is she doing it, family? We're gonna let it continue because maybe I'm just reaching. You know they love to tell me I'm reaching when I say something. I froze it on this frame for a reason. Tell me when the last time you ever seen her do this with any other group and a tragedy happens.
If you want to have an intellectual discussion, do you think that maybe comparing her to the Grand Wizard and the notion of what she said to being a modern leader of the KKK was maybe a step too far, or you stand by what you said?
I stand by what I said to provoke an open and honest discussion in this country, because there is a gap, Dana, between what people will say in private today and what they will say in public. I think we need to close that gap. I think we need to have real, open, honest, raw conversation as Americans. That is our path to national unity. And there are many Americans today who are deeply frustrated by the new culture of anti-racism that's really racism in new clothing. And we need to have that debate in the open. Dana, I think that you're doing, with due respect, what many in the media do, picking on some fringe comment in the context of a broader context that I was offering it in a speech.
All right, so you just said that your comment was fringe.
Let's have the courage to confront the meat of that. I'm saying you drew a fringe comment from a much longer speech. As I described you picking one fringe comment from a long speech that I gave to duck debate from the real issue that I think you don't want to have, Dana, because I think you probably agree with me on this, that this is toxic.
What you making fringe statements for, particularly pertaining to the atrocities that happened to our people at the hands of one white supremacist terrorist organization being the Ku Klux Klan? What you doing that for, Vivek? Because you don't do that to any other group. See, we've let them become far too comfortable disrespecting us. Far too comfortable. And we know why. Because they come over here and they think, all of them, not just to tell the class from the Caribbean and African nations, but all of them that come over here, they think, oh, this is the white man's country. You come over here and do whatever you want to black people. Okay. Keep playing with us. Because, see, this is where I agree with some of the people that had criticism. And during the Alabama River Brawl down there, we need to have that on-code energy nationwide, even for the Vivek Ramaswamis. Across the board. Yes, I said it. They become too comfortable disrespecting us like this. This is going to have to stop. And it's going to start when black men say, no, you don't get to do that anymore. And this demon sitting up here with him on the other side. They playing with us. See, this is what controlled opposition looks like. Because, see, some slow, silly Negroes will be like, well, she's doing her job. She questioning him. No, they're not. They're playing. She's smiling too much. This isn't how they act when they oppose something. Let it continue.
I think that this debate,
from leading politicians, on dividing us on the basis of race, and I want to have the open debate. I think this debate is fascinating and interesting and opening and important. What I did was I do too. Explain to our viewers that you were asked a question and you took it to a point where you called a sitting member of Congress who is black, who was having discussions about race, calling her the modern grand wizard of the KKK. And I'm just not sure how that's open and honest discussion. I want to move on, though, to another issue, a very important issue, and that is climate change. Before I move on, I want to say that the question was, please. How was I actually able to speak? And her view is I can't share certain views because my skin color is brown. I disagree with her, and we should have that debate in the open. But yes, let's talk about climate change because this is critical.
Okay. So now you heard Vivek, right? You heard Vivek. See, that right there, that type of disrespect, them up there playing in our faces after a tragedy happens to us, we're not going to tolerate that no more. Because I proved my point. Freezing it at those points for a reason to show you how she was grinning and smiling for the slow Negroes that are not in my audience. Use this to prove that point. Because, see, I catch certain things that most people don't. But before we get to this bootlick right here, I played Vivek for a reason because, yeah. What you see on your screen here, oh, let me take this banner down. You know, I was told that this guy wasn't a coon. Ain't that right? Y'all know who I'm talking about. I was told this wasn't a coon. I let you hear Vivek talk for a reason, and I'm going to play this so that I show you why tethers like this are part of the problem in our community. I'm not going to say nothing. I'm going to let you all hear it uninterrupted, and I will give my critique of it after he finished speaking, because I don't want nobody to say that I put words in his mouth. I put it up here with the title of his stream, too, because, see, if somebody gonna come tell me somebody's not a coon, I shouldn't be able to pull up what I'm about to play for you here. Not gonna say nothing. Let's let him talk.
If we had a Ronald Reagan president, which is what I think Ramaswamy is trying to be, I think Vivek is trying to be a Ronald Reagan style president. Or at least that's what his intentions are, in my opinion. If we had a Ronald Reagan style president right now, like in 2024, those of us that are Beanos, we do extremely well. We would do extremely well under a Ronald Reagan type president. Now, if you're broke and poor and you have a poor mentality, you're not going to do well under a Ronald Reagan style president. Because even when I look back on presidents of the past, right? So by the time I started working, I think Clinton was president by the time I started working, right? And you know what I noticed when I really think about it? I didn't do that well under Clinton. I did well under George W. Bush. And then I didn't do well under Obama. And then I did well under Trump. They say hindsight is 20/20, and I didn't like George W. Bush. Initially, I didn't have a problem with Obama. I didn't have an issue with Bill Clinton. It wasn't until after I looked back at what he was doing, it's like, oh, that shit was crazy. But when I look back historically, I didn't do well under Clinton or Obama. I did well under George W. and Trump, who are both Republicans. Shout out to I Like Cake Forever. Mr. Cake said, when Trump was president, $30 of gas lasted me 2 weeks in my hoopty. I believe it. Shout out to Akiak, said Trump had us drilling our own oil in the Gulf of Mexico. Biden took us off and sent all our oil reserves and billions to you-know-where, on top of flooding illegal in here. This POS president needs to go. Yeah, he got to go. He can't stay in office. Like, for one, he's too old. He's too old to be in office. Now, here's the thing with Vivek Ramaswamy, right? Even though I agree with his viewpoints, if he's being honest about his viewpoints and if he's being honest about his politics, I agree with him. I agree with a lot of the stuff he says, right? I agree with a lot of stuff he says. But I don't think he has a shot in hell at being president. I don't think he has a shot in hell at being president. Shout out to...
Now, you heard that, right? You heard that for yourselves. And salute to Cameron S. Wingfield for the cash out. Thank you, my brother. You heard that for yourselves. Now, my audience that is used to coming over here catching my broadcast, I'm not going to even say the person's name. I was told a few weeks ago that this wasn't a coon that you just saw. I was told the angry man wasn't a coon. You heard him out of his own mouth giving Ronald Wilson Reagan praise. Okay? Giving him praise as if to excuse how he treated and targeted black people in America. Then you heard him say he agrees with what most of Vivek Ramaswamy says. An anti-black racist that we've proven many times on this broadcast and in New Black Media. But yet you're going to tell me that what you just heard wasn't a coon, a cosplaying tether? Every time he opened his mouth, it's his right to do it, because I'm glad he do it. Let me be clear. I'm neither liberal nor conservative, and I don't want him censored. I want him to continue to do that. I want all of them to do it, just like I want the white supremacists to do it. You saw the title of the screen on that clip, so you can go see that for yourself. He said a lot more in there. But I don't have all night to go through all of that. I'm glad he did it. That's what I want them all to do. Okay? That is cooning. And that's an enemy of my community. So I just wanted to play that so we clear on the same page. Here's another enemy of the community. Sheila Jackson Lee. I'm going to play this bootleg. Let's let her talk.
This is not America. This is not America when hatred is so intense, so evil, that 3 human beings are shot down because of their race. I want us to be a nation that everyone's difference, race, creed, color, religion, is respected and honored because each has contributed to the greatness of America. 3 African Americans shot down because someone...
If this isn't America, Sheila Jackson Lee, well, what country is it? See this moose-faced piece of shit right here, and I don't have no respect for. This moose-faced piece of shit is parroting what white people say. This isn't America. Motherfucker, what other country is it then? Last time I checked, it's America. Last time I checked, it's business as usual. But not to her, though. Let's let her continue.
Hated them so much. I mourn for their families and the community. I really want us to come together. I honored a 94-year-old today. I imagine what his life was like, but he was happy because he was able to serve his city. And then, of course, we have to realize that today we were commemorating the 60th anniversary of the March on Washington, when the dream of the man of peace tried to bring America together. Let's come together. Let's have it be for justice. Let's our fight not be against each other, but let our fight be for justice, equality, and yes, respect and dignity for every human life.
You don't know what respect and dignity is, and you don't know what justice is, Sheila Jackson Lee, because you and the rest of the congressional black talkers, because that's all they ever do, don't stand up for black people the way you do every other group, because most of you are immigrants. Let's just call that what it is. That's another problem we're going to have to correct. We've allowed these anti-black tethers, because that's what she is also, to get their disrespectful, ungrateful asses. And I'm going to say it like that because our ancestors allowed them to come here, our elders. You get up there and you advocate for everybody except for that. Look, let me go to show you where I further put on the chopping block, okay? She don't even advocate for other black immigrants in this country as hard as she do other groups. She don't. They keep mentioning the 60th anniversary of the March on Washington. First of all, why you keep talking about that when really, if we're going to be honest, that accomplished nothing significant for black people? It didn't. Because if you do know your homework and do your history and your research, that was mostly approved of and orchestrated by a lot of white people behind the scenes. I respect our elder and ancestor, Dr. Martin Luther King. He was doing the best he could with what he had to work with at the time. But in hindsight, if he was alive today, him, Malcolm, anybody else, Medgar Evers, they would definitely have a radically different approach to things. He didn't see what we see here today. Okay? And yet they continue to bastardize his words and his work without mentioning that he wanted us to receive reparations. got another bootlick to deal with. Because see, these mammies, sisters, this is where you come in. Y'all gonna have to go on these bootlicks next. These mammies, I can call them out as a man, but it's gonna be up to y'all to really handle them, if you know what I'm saying. You may have to have certain conversations, in quotes, you know what I mean, with them. Why? They're responsible for propping up the harm in our community. They're responsible. When they get out and put the cape on for white daddy as pets, they're responsible because they're standing in the way of justice being produced. I'm going to let this mammy play and then you're going to see what I mean.
It's not because they see them as a fucking threat. No, the fuck they don't. I didn't work with enough white men to know that they don't see black men as no fucking threat. Ever. Ever. Yeah. Doesn't matter how much money his ass got. Don't care what position he got in authority. They don't see that shit as no fucking threat. But they do see black women as a threat.
Wrong. They do see us as a threat. You know why? You ignorant piece of shit, you. Who do they put in more political positions? Oh, see, we finna debunk this. Who do they put in more political positions? In more corporate jobs? Is it men or women? Black men or black women? They put our women in there because they know that it's a lot of mammies like this that they can say, hey, here's some butter biscuits for you. As long as you shit on the entire black community, that means other black women. We got a little position for you. Jacoby Pittman. Our governor done came here. He got some gifts for us, and I want them gifts. I respect her honesty because she was telling the truth. They do fear us as black men because the men of any group are a threat to any opposing or invading force. Nobody's running around saying, oh my God, the women. No, they're not. No, they're not, because you easily bought. You don't have integrity. This kind of woman, not all of our sisters, because this right here, like I said, sisters, you need to revoke the title of black woman from this bitch, because this is a bitch. See, I swap it out. When you start acting like a bitch, I'm going to give you that title whether you're man or woman. You don't get to be called black man or black woman no more. Fuck all of that. Why am I going to respect people that disrespect my community when our lives are on the line? No, this is a bitch. Y'all going to have to start dealing with this accordingly, sisters, because she's against you. What other group of women comes on TV after a tragedy and speaks against the protected class, her men in her community? I'm going to let her continue.
You understand? Because black women are a matriarchy. We're the most educated group. And guess what? When we come together with white women, that's really where it's going to hit them where it fucking hurts. Because
first of all, she said black women are a matriarchy. Show me one nation on the planet that fears a matriarchy coming to invade them. Let's see, we're going to talk real. We're going to deal with that most educated lie too. I've said it again, and go and check the stats for yourself. No, our women are not the most educated. They're the most enrolled. Most enrolled. Big difference. That doesn't mean you're the most educated. A lot of sisters drop out of college their first year and end up pregnant. A lot do. It's a small percentage that graduate with these useless ass liberal arts degrees and they come out with tons of student loan debt. See, you talking stupid. See, when you talk math, numbers, and reality, she sounds like a damn fool. You sisters listen to this, you better start applying what I just said, even if you don't like how I said it. You better look at the facts. Go look at on paper. Because what I just said is easily verifiable. I don't have to lie about it. Point taken in simple terms, giving yourself a false sense of importance and trying to do this gender war shit, that's suicidal at this juncture and hour of our history as a foundational Black American freedmen. This is an enemy. You don't come out and talk against your protected class of men because right now, let's make it even more realistic. I want y'all to bear with me and listen to what I'm about to say. If all black men in this country were either killed or we just said fucking and left in the middle of the night, left all the women and children here, we just dipped. What you think gonna happen to black women? What you think gonna happen to black women in that scenario? Is a white man gonna step in and protect you? The East Indian man, the Arab man, the Hispanic man? Or, excuse me, or is this more likely? If that happened, if we were all dead or just left, and just said, turn the tail and run, you know, like to the class, we all just did that, would this not be more likely? Their men are either all dead or they abandoned them? Now we can finally put an end to the Negro problem, which is the gateway to black life. You have no protectors here, zero now. Not a few. I'm talking about all of us are gone or dead. They would wipe you out. That's more realistic. But see, she thinks she's got camaraderie with the white woman, her natural enemy in this country. I'm not going to put words in her mouth. I'm going to let this fool speak. Let's let her continue.
White women come together with black women, we really going to start changing some shit for good, permanently. And that is what white men are afraid of when they talk about woke, this woke stuff. They're afraid that white women are going to join with black women and we're going to start changing some shit in our fucking states. You understand? This ain't about no fucking black men, because black men are not the ones sitting around trying to figure out fucking solutions to the goddamn problems. Only black women and white women are doing that. Ain't no men out here coming up with no fucking solutions for the problems in this world.
Okay, you hear how crazy this piece of shit sounds. I wonder where her family's from. That's always an important question we got to ask. I wonder where her family's from. Don't let nobody shame you out of asking that either. Because see, let's deal with this nonsense. A lot of people would just react to this without challenging it in a logical way. Let's just say what she said is true. If white women were to join with you on something, don't you have evidence now that once they get what they want, they leave your ass hanging? See, when you stop and apply common sense to foolishness, it can't stand on its face. It can't. Over and over. Just look at feminism in any period of it. After white women get what they want, they use you as a mule and a mammy. Okay, leave you hanging. She sure has such faith in white women, don't she? And let's deal with this. If the men, particularly our men, wasn't coming up with solutions to problems, your black ass wouldn't be here to talk like this. If black men never stood up to defend our women and our children, they wouldn't be here. You're not going to go toe-to-toe with no white supremacists coming to do nothing. That usually falls on the brothers. Now, we got some sisters out there that will fight, but you're not the majority. We're going to stop this disrespect of the foundational black American freedman man as if we're not the reason why our people continue to exist. Are there things we can improve on? Sure. Is there a lot that we need to work on? Yes. But we're what's keeping you alive right now. Think I'm reaching on this? Watch this. What happens to black people in areas of this country where our population is in the single percentage digits? How are you treated when you're the only black person, especially a black woman, around a bunch of white folks, men and women? Huh? Do they embrace you with all this camaraderie then? Sisters, y'all gonna have to tighten up on these types of amendments, but I'm gonna let her finish though. I'm gonna let her continue.
All they come together to talk about is women and fucking do it.
So now you heard the mammy, right? See, mammy, you talking stupid at a time in our history where black women are gonna need black men more than ever. Because take a look on your screen right here. Trump raised $7.1 million after the Georgia booking mugshot, okay? Now, Why is this important? Because one, Fani Willis, and her time is coming, a black woman, is the prosecutor that the white folks used to go after Donald Trump when no other white prosecutors wanted to. His supporters that gave him $7.1 million after this mugshot, these are the same ones that stormed the Capitol. Meaning they're diehard loyalists to Donald Trump. Now, silly bitch that I just played before showing you this. Who you think they're going to blame that on? Fani Willis is wearing your image, a black woman. These racists are going to start targeting you for that. Without the protection of black men, your ass is a sitting duck. You are a piece of meat. See, when I thread a needle over here, I do it where it makes sense, family. I do it where it makes sense. She has no idea that she's about to need black men in this country more than ever. So see, tonight, family, I brought you this broadcast to get that off my chest and say it the way it needs to be said. It was very difficult for me to make it through it, but I got the point across and I got the message out there. So I want to leave you all with this. Whether you met a black person or not, even if you got differences, minor ones, within reason, now is the time to get on code, put petty differences aside, and we got. We got to protect each other. That means getting rid of the coons amongst us because that's the most dangerous threat near us and ostracizing them. And that means getting these bootlicks out of office that do not stand up for our people in times of need, okay? I want you to take care of yourselves, brothers and sisters out here, because there's going to be more coming, and how we get through it is going to determine how on code we are, okay? Being on code is the key to everything. So with that said, salute to everybody. Thank you to everybody that contributed to the broadcast here tonight. Again, blessings and peace go out to everybody that survived that hurricane. Black first, salute, and I will see you all in future content.